Hello, welcome to Cover 2 TV. It's me, Chris Pajak, that's Tom Jennings, and it's you guys. We're here for the preview show for Week 16, the penultimate normal week of the season, I suppose. I've come up with a great word, the penultimate, and then I've got nothing after it. So we're going to get 4 main games. Those games are Buffalo, New England, Los Angeles Rams, Tennessee Titans, Atlanta, New Orleans, Seattle, Dallas, and then we're taking the spin around the league for the penultimate time. So we're going to start off with Jenno's team. It's the Buffalo Bills, the scary, scary, scary Buffalo Bills against the New England Patriots. Jenno, first of all, we've both gone for Patriots, I'm guessing.
Yes.
As the winners. Is it going to be easy?
No.
No.
Here's why it's not going to be easy. Because if Tyler Taylor plays, which I'm assuming he's going to, I haven't heard any weird injuries come up, Patriots can't stop quarterbacks who can scramble. This is my problem with the Patriots defence as a whole. They get no pass rush. The defensive line and linebacking core is not great. That's why they play with so many. They play a lot of nickel and they have a lot of 6 deep. Because they got no pass rush, so Tyler Taylor's going to pick up 3rd downs all day. We saw that to an extent in the first game. But Tyler Taylor was injured, so obviously he was limited in that. So New England's going to set up and go, well, we're going to try and stop you running quarterback and we're going to stop Shady, and that's how to stop the Bills. The problem is they don't really have the personnel to do that. So it's not going to be easy, but on the other hand, you're not sure how the Bills are going to stop the Patriots, and you feel as if the Patriots get a lead, the Bills do not have the personnel to then just throw it and come back from that.
Yeah, I agree with you, mate. And listen, I don't watch the New England Patriots anywhere near as much as you, so I won't pretend to be an expert on them, but I've seen that offense, and I've seen Tom Brady for years and years and years now. He's gonna pick the Bills apart, and that's what's going to happen. And I do think it's going to be easy because I trust in Belichick and his coaching staff to formulate some kind of a game plan that keeps Tyrod Taylor as the only factor. Because I don't think Tyrod Taylor on his own can beat the Patriots. I think he will just completely take away LaShawn McCoy, and then you have to put it in the quarterback's hands as well as his legs, and I think that's where the Patriots will get the success. But listen, Gronkowski's going to be a major factor once again. He'll tear the Bills apart and he'll win comfortably.
Yeah, Gronkowski, I think, has got more touchdowns against the Bills than anyone else against any other team. It's some weird stat, might just be in the division or just Gronkowski himself, but he seems to have a day in Buffalo, which is his hometown, where he grew up, and he just destroys them routinely.
Do you think? I know he wasn't suited last week, but Mike Gillislee, obviously former Bills player, wasn't suited, hasn't been suited for a few weeks, I think I'm right in saying.
4 or 5 weeks. Since Dion Lewis come back, he hasn't been suiting.
Do you think we might see him in this game, just as a little fuck you?
We're going to see him because Rex Burkhead got injured in that game against the Steelers, so that's going to open up the roster spots for Gillislee for a bit more of the power running, because we've been using Burkhead as the red zone running back, which has been an interesting thing, because that's why Burkhead must be killing fantasy teams. You see Dion Lewis running all the way up the field, and then some Burkhead's hands for the touchdown. Must do your head in if you've got them in fantasy. But that's where I think we'll see him as the more of a goal line threat in that LeGarrette Blount position. I think we might be use a bit more power than we have been lately, which has been that get behind hide behind the tackles, whereas Gillislee just runs straight through the tackles.
Yeah, Gillislee, I mean, start of the season, I was really impressed with him. So what happened in that sort of mid-season stretch?
Dion Lewis outplayed him. Dion Lewis has outplayed him. Dion Lewis is clearly the better running back. Also, in Lewis, White and Baker, they all have pretty similar attributes. So teams don't know what Patriots are going to do. They can all relatively run between the tackles, but not great. They're all much better outside and all much better in space, which allows them to be much more involved in the passing game. So ultimately, you're just putting it into Tom Brady's hands to just decide who it is that he likes in this matchup and then put it through. Whereas with Gillislee, he's not really a factor in the passing game, so that's why he's came out.
A little bit one-dimensional when he was there. It's like when Adrian Peterson lines up behind centre. For casual viewers, Peterson was going to be running the ball. He's not a factor in the passing game. That's what we're saying about Gillislee.
So because he's not a factor in the passing game, there's no that takes away quite a lot of what the Patriots like to do in terms of the chess match and the calling the plays when they let Tom Brady Tom Brady's at his best when you just go and read the coverage and call the plays. That's why he has so many late drive wins, when it's just him. And that's why I think they prefer obviously having the backs who can do a little bit of everything rather than one-dimensional.
What are the playoff implications, obviously, for the New England Patriots in this game, Jenno? Because obviously they've clinched the division. Huge game last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I think if they win this game and the Jaguars lose, they got the bye, or if the Steelers lose, they got the bye. But I think it's more on the Bills side, because that Bills, they're still 8-6, they're still the 6th in the playoff. And I think we all expected them to drop out by now, because I don't think anyone really thinks them as a fearful
playoff caliber team.
Like, I mean, I expect if they make it to the playoffs and they play the Jaguars will absolutely annihilate them. But you got to keep your eye on them. Teams like the Chargers or the Ravens are going to be looking at the Bills as in, they lose this game, then it's all going to be down to their last game on whether they go 9-7 or 8. It's just going to open a couple of opportunities for some of the wild card chasers to look at the Bills.
So just while we're talking AFC, then we may as well talk a little bit about who is in the hunt. Obviously, the division leaders and the division winners so far, Patriots and Steelers, who've both clinched a playoff berth and their division title. The Jaguars have clinched the playoff berth, and the Chiefs have not, although they top their division. Wild card in the hunt, obviously 5th and 6th, the Titans and Bills, as Jenno's just said. And then, in the hunt, we've got the Ravens, the Chargers. Ravens at 8-6, Chargers at 7-7, Raiders at 6-8, and then the Dolphins at 6-8. So Jets, Bengals, Broncos, Texans, Colts, Browns eliminated.
I think you could pretty much say the Raiders and the
Dolphins
eliminated, because they need they basically need everyone to finish 8-8 and then like 7 billion mad things to happen. So I think we can kind of say they're out, but the other two are like realistic contenders. Yeah,
I think you're right there. Okay, well, we'll move into the NFC then. We'll look at the Los Angeles Rams versus the Tennessee Titans. I've picked the Los Angeles Rams. I just think they're on a roll at the moment. These are looking absolutely fearsome. Having seen what they did last week, Todd Gurley, I mean, even getting rested towards the end of the game, completely killing off my fantasy football season. They've just been in sparkling form at the moment, and this offense is just going to have far too much for the Tennessee Titans defense. And to be fair, that Rams defense, I think, has got far too much for the Titans offense as well. Rams have not yet secured their division or, in fact, the playoff berth, but that'll be done this week.
Yeah. Again, speaking of the AFC playoffs from the Titans side, I think pretty much everyone's looking at the Titans to fall out of the AFC in that 5th seed and expect the Ravens to take it, because Titans got 2 tough games. This first one being...
Ravens have got like the teams that they're playing against, it's like 0.33.
It's Indy and the Browns.
Yeah, we did a couple of weeks ago, and it's like combined wins of 8 and losses of like 31 or something a couple of weeks ago, and it's not got any better.
That's exactly, and I think Tennessee, I can't think of their last game is, but right now they're playing the Rams, who are the best team in terms of all 3 phases. They're the most complete team in football. I expect them to absolutely house the Titans, which I think is a good thing for the Titans organisation, because they need to get rid of Mike Mularkey, because he's awful. They're the only team who doesn't run any of the spread option when they've got the best spread option quarterback in the league. It baffles me. It does me head in. We all know how high I was in Titans personnel, and it's the coaching that's just terrible, and just the offense is garbage and the defense is a dinosaur. So let's have the Rams smack them, let's have the Titans fall out of the playoffs, and then it's going to be better for everyone.
Yeah, okay then. So is there anything that the Titans can do to actually beat the Rams?
If the run game ever shows up again, there was a time at the start of the season when the Titans, I was like, show me game, and he absolutely dominated the Seahawks in Seattle. And he did it by running the ball really well. The offensive line was obviously dominant that day, but that's not seen to be the case.
It's few and far between, and in fairness, the Seahawks defence has been gashed a few times on the run this season. So, although it was a show-me game back then, I think now, looking at the last 2 weeks, and I know they've Seattle have had injuries and stuff, but they have been gashed.
Yeah,
I mean, Gurley last week.
See, that's the thing, though. That's one of these things where you think, oh, they've just done that Seahawks, and then you look at the Seahawks rest of the season, and you see they've more come down to the pack. They're not the dominant force they have been for the 4 years previously.
Yeah, since 2012, really.
Yeah, so, I mean, everyone's got a chance. I still like Marcus Mariota, even though he's thrown more interceptions than touchdowns this season. Maybe he has some kind of crazy game. Maybe the Rams basically need to shit the bed.
Yeah.
And the Rams need to not show up, which, they are travelling halfway across the country. I mean, Tennessee's like the middle-ish.
I don't know. I have no idea where Tennessee is.
It's middle-ish, Tennessee, so it's not really across the country. It's halfway.
Okay, well, we'll move on then. We've got the Atlanta Falcons versus the... Oh, you did pick the Rams, yeah?
Yeah, I picked the Rams. I can't actually see them showing up and shit in the bed.
Yeah, no, fair enough. So we'll move on then. A tasty rematch from only 2 weeks ago. Atlanta Falcons, New Orleans Saints. Falcons won out against the New Orleans Saints last time out. Obviously in the division, let's have a look at the standings for this one. This is where it's close. This seems to be the plum division of the NFL at the moment, the NFC South. Saints at 10-4, Panthers at 10-4, Falcons at 9-5, and then you got the Bucs propping everything up at 4-10. 3 really good teams going into this one. That's an alarm that I set weeks and weeks ago for 4:45 in the afternoon. I've no idea what it's for anymore. I think I must have had a meeting or something. So, plum division, plum tie, because they'll both go
I thought that
to
alarm
10
was just
and
to say
5.
how I said this was good division at the start of the season. That's what I thought it was.
No, it wasn't. Nobody cares, mate. Nobody cares at all.
Yeah,
Do you care? Let us know in the comments section. Oh, look, no one commented. Okay, so where are we? Obviously, wildcard spots are both in the NFC, taken up by the Panthers at 10-4 and Falcons 9-5, and then in the hunt it's Lions, Seahawks, Cowboys. Not great percentages for the Seahawks because obviously the Rams are in their division. I think this one's going to come down to home field advantage, Jenno. I think it's going to be that tight.
Yeah, I do. I think home field advantage plays a big part in divisional games. And I also think New Orleans are the better team, but we did see a lot. So we've seen a lot because they really won Devontae Freeman against the Bucs, and that was really good. And that was Atlanta showing the run game again. I mean, I'd still like them to pass it to the running backs. Like, that was a thing under Mike Shanahan, and that dominated teams. Don't know why Steve Sarkisian just went away from that. But the Bucs played them quite tough, and I think, you know, the Saints are a lot better than the Bucs. I don't rate the Bucs team, so I can't see it, but the Saints win. I think that Saints running game will.
Well, they didn't have Alvin Kamara last time out, I don't think, did they? I think either he missed the game or that was the game he got injured in the first sort of series, maybe quarter. So that changed that Saints offense for me. You know, they weren't as explosive, they weren't as good. They just couldn't get the running game going without that two-headed monster of Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara. And what team would be the same? This is the best running back duo in the league at the moment. The ball wasn't really put in Drew Brees' hands. I think coming towards the end of the season now, if they're in a position where they need to put the ball in Drew Brees' hands, I think they will. I think maybe 2 weeks ago they sort of hedged the bet a little bit.
It's also in the dome. Drew Brees plays a lot better in that dome. Because the facts prove it. You know what I mean? The only person who plays worse away from home is Ben Roethlisberger. So you got Drew Brees in the dome. You got Michael Thomas, who's been brilliant. I can't see anything but the Saints win, and I just think, I don't know how Atlanta win this game. Outside of being a tough divisional game, I just believe in the matchup suit the Saints better.
Yeah, I think, you know, obviously Julio Jones is going to be a factor in the game. Marshawn Lattimore was missing for the last game out with them. I think he'll be a factor this game. I think you've seen when the Vikings played the Atlanta Falcons that, you know, one-on-one matchups, it can be done. We did really, really well, and I don't think the Atlanta Falcons did a very good job of moving and scheming Julio Jones open. They might have learned from that since the Vikings game, and I didn't see them last week. But I would be very surprised if Lattimore's not following Julio Jones around that football field, because somebody's got to do it. I mean, one of the plays, I don't know whether you saw this, when the Vikings played the Falcons, Jenno, was Julio Jones came out of the huddle late, right? And we couldn't get our cornerback on him, and it worked, and he ended up picking up a catch about 25 yards or something. And I thought to myself, this is like start of the second half. I was like, shit, is this what they're going to do? Is they just going to leave it so late that we've just got to get in position and see if we can make it across? And that was the only time in the game they did it, and it looked like it was a mistake rather than it was actually played for. Now, if I was the coaching staff and I'd noticed that, I'd have been telling them to get Julio out of that huddle late every single time and try and get a decent matchup. Whether they've learned from that, who knows? So I'm going to go the New Orleans Saints by under 7 points. Where are you going?
I'm going New Orleans Saints. I think it will be close, but I just think I'm going basically Drew Brees in the dome over Matt Ryan. That's my opinion on it.
Okay. And we know Matt Ryan plays in the dome as well, but it's his dome, isn't it?
Yeah, it's different when it's your dome, isn't
exactly. It? The air quality is much different over in New Orleans. Okay, let's look at another game with playoff implications. We've got the Seattle Seahawks at the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Seattle is a loser. If Seattle lose, they go home, and then they're not in the playoffs. Dallas needs to go... Hang on.
If Dallas loses this game, goes home.
If Dallas lose this game, they go home too?
Yep.
And Seattle lose this game, they go home too?
Yep.
So the winner needs to go 2-0, with the Falcons or the Panthers going 0-2. Lions also need this and have tiebreaks over Dallas. There you go. That's Jenno's writing, me reading out, if you couldn't tell already. Yeah. Okay. I mean...
That makes it sound like my writing's terrible.
It's not. The sentences don't make sense.
Oh yeah, because it's very short and I've got very little space to write.
Yeah. So this is... I'll read it. I'll read the first sentence. Dallas Seattle is a loser, goes home.
Yeah.
I mean...
I assumed you knew it was a game. I mean, I didn't think you needed that game.
Dallas Seattle is a loser, goes home.
You know, I do copyright now as well. I write a lot of copy and I've got a job to do for a copywriting job.
Okay, what do you think's going to win?
Writing is not very good. I've went for Dallas. I think the way we saw the Todd Gurley run all over the Seahawks, Zeke comes back this game. Zeke, I seen the video of him the other day, he looks in shape, because I think where he maybe stress ate and, you know, didn't train a lot in the off-season, where he wasn't sure what was going to happen. Clearly this time he knew he was coming back and knew when he's coming back. And I think that Seahawks defence is very depleted. Yeah. And I think we saw, you know, Wagner couldn't get across side to side anymore. There's no KJ right there. I think Zeke Elliott's going to run all over them.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think, you know, that opens up the passing game as well for Dak Prescott. I think he had a little bit of a wobble at first when Zeke went down. I think he's played much better. In fact, he'll be a better quarterback for not having Zeke Elliott there for a few games. This will be like unleashing a tiger. You know, he has been primed, raring to go, and this guy is going to come and he's going to walk all over that Seattle defense, because he's seen other people do it, and he's going to want to do it, and that entire offense is built for Zeke Elliott.
And he's going to be fresh as well. There's something to say about that kind of freshness coming back, because it's not like he was injured for a few weeks and he needs to get his thing. He's raring to go, he's fresh, and he's going to absolutely smash them to pieces. I just see them running all over Seattle.
Where are we with Sean Lee? Is he still injured? Of course he is. He's probably still injured.
Even if he comes back, he's going to cough and his jaw will fall off, something mad like that.
Twist the sock and go out for 3 weeks.
Yeah, you know what I mean? The rain hits him and he gets pneumonia.
And that Seattle offense, I mean, you know, they got Davis a few yards, 30, 40 yards last week out. There's just nothing to that offense, is there, other than Russell Wilson?
It's just, I mean, this is partly because of Russell Wilson, the way he plays the game. It's a lot of just scramble plays. He loves to scramble play, and he doesn't really pick apart teams, but at the same time, because there's no running game.
And to be fair to Russell Wilson, the O-line's crap.
Yeah, it is.
It's been crap. The left tackle is improved slightly. Yeah. You know, I don't even think they're back to average yet. I think if they could have got back to average, they'd have got into the playoffs. But I think, you know, they were terrible. They were absolutely terrible.
I think he doesn't help with offensive line, though, because he holds the ball for a long time. That's how your offensive line gets beat.
Yeah, but I agree with you. I completely agree with you. It's not him holding the ball that's the problem for me. It's him taking 2 or 3 steps too deep. Yeah. That's the problem, because you're changing the angle for the tackle. And that's where I think the tackles struggle. Because you can hold a guy for another second or two, but bear in mind, you don't know where your quarterback is. You know where he's supposed to be. And if he's a bit further back, the guy can see him who's attacking you and just goes past you.
And he doesn't step up. So he's not stepping up away from pressure. Let's just look, just going into one of the quarterbacks I love and who Steve's infatuated with, Jimmy Garoppolo. People talking about the 49ers having one of the worst offensive lines in the league. Suddenly Jimmy Garoppolo comes in with a quick one.
Suddenly Jimmy Garoppolo comes in.
This is why everyone calls him Jimmy G, because his name's really hard to say fast. Steps into that, and because he's the way he's moving, and because he steps up in the line and he moves side to side, suddenly he's not getting sacked. I think that there is something to be said about quarterbacks who get sacked a lot. A lot of the times it's on them, not the offensive line.
And it's too easy for us as fans, isn't it? It's too easy for us as fans to blame the O-line when sometimes, you know, I'd say 3 maybe 4 sacks a week on Russell Wilson are probably his fault.
Yeah.
And that's just the way that it is. But then equally,
How many does he
out of
save?
those dropbacks, how many does he save as well?
Yeah, so it's 50-50. It's still a bad O-line. We're not going to start giving the credit, because it was a really good O-line. They'd be able to run the ball, and they can't. So that's the other show that it can't be very good either.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, we'll move it on then. We'll go to our spin around the league, and we're going to go to one matchup. Cleveland Browns versus Chicago Bears. Now, I did want to put Cleveland's first win of the season on this matchup, and I didn't, because I think the Chicago Bears defense is slightly too good for the Browns offense.
Yeah, I was going to put this as one of the main games, just in hope that someone picks the Bears. Picks the Browns, but I can't see anything but a Bears win. The Browns have nothing. There's just nothing on there to get excited about.
They've got Josh Gordon.
You've got Josh Gordon. Okay, they've got no one to throw on the ball. John Carr's not very good. Unless Josh Gordon's going to throw it up to himself, run down the field and catch it, I'm not really impressed by that.
And on that note, we'll give our picks and move on. Chicago Bears.
Chicago Bears.
Detroit Lions, Cincinnati Bengals. Feels like this is a game that I don't want to talk about too much either, if I'm perfectly honest. That Bengals team has been shit, and therefore I'm going for the Lions in this one.
I'm going for the Lions. Lions going to go 10-6 and miss the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's how it's going to be.
Poor old divisional rivals. Minnesota Vikings, Green Bay Packers. Now here's a game that interests me. By all accounts, Aaron Rodgers isn't going to be playing in this game.
No, they've already put him back on IR, I think.
Which is great.
Yeah, well, that's what they should have done.
Absolutely,
yeah.
And I 100% back their decision to do that, especially with playing the Minnesota Vikings this weekend. No, but seriously, I mentioned it on the last show. If they can bomb out, that side will look dangerous with a really high draft pick. And listen, they're not going to get a top 10 draft pick or anything like that, but yeah, I fancy them to be Super Bowl contenders next season. A couple of losses here will help that anyway. I think they roll over and die for the Vikings. I don't think they can do that at Lambeau Field, if I'm perfectly honest. But I do think this Vikings side, even with Rodgers at the helm, might have a little bit too much in all the other phases of the game.
Yeah, I would have, even if they won last week, I'd have still picked the Vikings this week. That doesn't stop the Vikings from being this dominant team that they are. I've given up on waiting Case Keenum to be terrible, because
he's not.
He's the best quarterback in the league.
He's not that good. He's having an outstanding year, and I wish people, I've watched every Vikings game this season, I wish people would give him a little bit more credit, because he's been sensational, and it's his movement, and he can get yards with his legs, he can hit tight throws, he can play long throws. He's got everything at the moment, and the likelihood that he's not going to be our quarterback next year, which is mad.
Because I think so.
I don't think he will be.
Who will be your quarterback next year?
I think it might be Bridgewater.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think they'll keep the two of them.
I hope they do, but I think Bridgewater will be.
I think Sam Bradford's the one you get rid of.
I think Case Keenum gets paid somewhere.
What's his contract, No
idea.
No. Okay. It's the off-season one,
Listen, I'd love us to keep Case Keenum, and right now he's playing better football than Teddy Bridgewater because he's not played any. You would have to keep two of those, and you would definitely be keeping Case Keenum for the simple fact that disregard his form this season, which you can't. You've got two dead injury-prone quarterbacks. You've got to get rid of one of the injury-prone quarterbacks. That's the way that you've got to do it.
I think Sam Bradford's already gone. I think Sam Bradford's career's over. I think he's got that Chad Pennington, where it doesn't matter how good you are. If your body keeps breaking down every time you go out there, then you need to move on.
Poor old Sam. So, Miami Dolphins, Kansas City Chiefs. Have the Miami Dolphins got any way to stop a rolling Kansas City offense?
They stopped the Patriots. Patriots theoretically were better than the Chiefs. That's not what they've shown on the night. I don't think so. I think the Chiefs are going to win. I think the Chiefs are back to being good. I don't think.
A thing again? Are we sure?
I don't know. I don't think they're great. They're not. I know they battered the Chargers, but I'm just thinking it's a divisional game. Sometimes that happens. I'm reserved. I don't think they're as good as that team that we're just going far.
If they'd just beaten the Chargers, would that have affected your opinion any? Is it because they battered them that you're now thinking they're not so great?
If Phillip Rivers didn't throw 3 interceptions,
yeah, fair point.
Then I would have, maybe because they absolutely battered them. Phillip Rivers was awful. That's why I'm like reluctant. And also because of how all in I was on them after 5 weeks and then how bad they was after that, I'm just confused.
Okay. I've gone Chiefs as well. I've gone Ravens over Indianapolis Colts. You, Jenno?
Ravens.
Okay, let's move it on then. I've gone Chargers over Jets.
Chargers.
Want to talk about it?
Well, this is the kind of Jetsy game where they might just win this one. The Chargers might completely blow any chance they had, the hopes that they had off the playoffs.
That is true. They could very much do that. But they need the Titans to lose out, don't they?
They need that, and they also need Bryce Petty to win. Or maybe Christian Hackenberg shows up. Remember him? He's technically still on the Jets. They did take him with a second-round pick. No one's ever saw him again. How bad of a quarterback must you be?
10. The answer's 10, there's no scale. Denver Broncos, Washington Redskins. Man, I think we've probably picked the same all the way through this. In fact, have we disagreed on one yet?
I don't think so.
Have you picked the Redskins?
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds. Have you picked Panthers?
Yeah.
You picked Jacksonville?
I have, but I might have to just change that for some Jimmy G love and just see whether that'll...
Okay, so Jacksonville Jaguars, San Francisco 49ers, Jenno. I say that the Blake Bortles-led Jacksonville Jaguars, I can't believe I'm going to say this, are going to inflict the first defeat on the Hall of Fame career of Jimmy G.
5-0 2 Super Bowl rings. 5-0 2 Super Bowl rings. Tom Brady didn't even have that career.
And yet it's Blake Bortles is the man to bring him down. Well, it's not. It's the defense of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
It's AJ Bourret and Jalen Ramsey. I mean,
do you think they've got a chance, or do you think that's just too good a defense for them right now to be facing?
I think they got a chance. I think because I think if you can go ahead on the Jaguars, they're not a team who can come from behind. I think that's how everyone feels. The problem is it's very hard to go ahead on the Jaguars because that defense is so good. Like, I don't know if you saw them, the pro people got nominated for the Pro Bowl, got released today. Most of them, the whole defense was just Jaguars. It felt like, you know, Campbell went, Abury went, and Ramsey were on there, and I think Jackson was there as well. It was just like half the Jaguars defense was in the Pro Bowl, and that just shows how good they are and how scary of a prospect they would be if they actually had me playing quarterback instead of them.
Yeah.
Anyone instead of him.
So are you going to go for San Francisco 49ers, or are you going to stick with your Jacksonville Jaguars?
I'm going to, whatever the pick's actually on the pick, which has already been done.
Okay, I haven't done my pick. I'll be doing this after this. So we go New York Giants, start number 3 for Eli Manning, I think. Yeah? Against the Arizona Cardinals.
It's going to break the record again.
What for?
Picks
in the first half. Picks in the first half. That's been a record this season. That's been broken. Eli wants that record. I'm going Cardinals in this one, mate, and I've no idea why.
I've gone Cardinals because I think they're both crap and I don't care.
Well, I was watching the Giants game at the weekend. I must admit, I was fairly impressed with Eli Manning, though.
Eli will have that one game where you might just think, oh, he's not done, and then you've got to remember the footage you've watched for the last 3 years of him throwing absolute ducks. Yeah.
He had some touch passes, he made some long throws outside of the numbers. That offense seemed to be moving at the weekend, so they do have a little bit of a chance.
It wouldn't surprise me if they won this game. Like, I'm not sitting there going, oh, there's no way that they beat the Cardinals led by Blaine Gabbert. I mean,
yeah.
You know what
Agreed.
I mean?
Let's move on. Pittsburgh Steelers, Houston Texans. Pittsburgh Steelers, easily.
Well, is this one of those Steeler games where they go away from home and get beat by a really bad team?
No. Too much on the line now.
It's more because it's TJ Yates, so that's a level of bad. Even
I mean, what even is he?
I don't know. Well, he's got a good name, TJ. I quite like those initials.
Yeah, good initials. I like those initials too. Not as good as mine. Cap. Okay, Oakland Raiders, Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles going to have too much for the Oakland Raiders. If Jenno sticks by those picks...
Those are on Christmas though, you know.
Jenno sticks by those picks.
I have a chance to get one game back on you out of 3 games.
You do not, because we've picked all the same teams all the way through that. I'm going to get into the NFL pick'em now because Lee Reynolds has absolutely killed that.
Lee Reynolds has won that by far, and so you deserve to, Lee, because anyone who gets every game right in a week...
Has he done that? Did he do it last week?
No, but he has done it, and that's why he's like 100 points ahead of everyone, because that was just incredible. I think me and you were looking at 3rd and 5th. Harshall's there somewhere.
Harshall's there. I think I'm level on points with Harshall. I've got a new phone, so I've not logged into me Pick'em, which is gutting.
So all this riffing I'm just doing off the top of my head, so you can
You're
find
just gonna have to keep on going, baby.
See, this is usually Steve's job as well. Why I look bored or something, or yawn, because that's 90% of what I do on this show.
He does yawn a lot, but he works nights, you see, and that's the problem for him. We're struggling here. Have you got NFL Pick'em on your phone? Because I don't know my password.
My phone is turned off.
Okay.
That one time it went off on the show. The only time I never turned it off. We got next to 5 minutes of showing this and I haven't talked
So sorry, we could have cut this out for you, but we're just too lazy and too busy to do it.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's the NFL Pick'em over for week 16 because I don't know my password. Thanks for sticking with us this far. It's been an absolute shit show once again. I hope you've enjoyed the content this far this season. Big stuff coming for the playoffs. Should we do a live show for... I like doing this on camera. It feels better than sorting it out off camera. Yeah. Should we do a live show for the Super Bowl and watch it live here?
Yes.
Let's do that. We're going to do that with beers.
Of course.
Let's do it with beers. I hope you 3 people who enjoy the show will come and watch it with us as well. Thanks very much for watching Cover 2 TV and we'll see you next time.